Hey everyone, Miss GoElectric here, and today I'm in the city of Detroit in a really cool spot. This is actually Belle Isle, and this is a 2.5 mile long island that's right smack dab in the middle of the Detroit River. So you'll see behind me the city of Detroit downtown, and then on the other side here, Windsor. That's Canada. It's pretty cool, but a lot of people bring their bikes down here and ride around the island, and that's really what I want to do here today to test out this new e-bike. Right in front of me, you'll see I have a Ride1Up Limited. So let's get to unboxing and review it. This box really was an inspiration to come down here and do the unboxing here in the city of Detroit. I just love this graphic on here. The box itself is actually really lightweight too, so I'm excited to see how heavy this bike is when I lift it out. Having handles on both sides of the packaging is thoughtful and a convenient touch. I wish more e-bike manufacturers considered them on their packaging, especially for the heavier e-bikes. Looks like on the corner here there was some damage on the box, but inside it looks like it is perfectly fine. So let's start taking out some boxes. I have a small one over here. We'll open this first. All right, I have a branded Allen wrench set. This is really nice. It has a lot of different options for the tools. We have a postcard from Ride1Up that says "Adventure awaits" with some mountains on it. Pretty cool. Welcome to the Ride1Up family. So this actually has some information about where to find them and give out reviews online. And this is so cool. I have a Ride1Up beanie here that they gave me. It has the branding right on the front and a little tag on the back, and it's super high quality. I'm really excited to wear this in the wintertime, and I think that's a nice touch to be able to add this to the purchase of a Ride1Up bike. And so far what I've seen from the packaging to this little gift inside, the branding is really nice. All right, let's set this aside, and it looks like I'll be able to pull out the bike now. Well, it looks like I have two more boxes here that were down at the very bottom. So let's open these up and then we'll start unpacking the bike. All right, it looks like this first box, well, I should say the second box, is the charger. So it comes with an instruction manual, and this charger here is a 2-amp charger, so it should be able to charge up the 672 watt-hour battery in about 4 hours or so. Now this box has my pedals. We have a small component here. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but we're gonna look in the manual and find out. And then finally, I have a set of reflectors, a couple spare bolts, and the user manual. Let's unpack the bike now. Well, there are a lot of zip ties on here because this is really nicely packed and tight, so things weren't bumping around in the box. But one thing to note is that the fork is not fully assembled yet, so it is a little bit harder to balance this on this surface just because there's no fork supporting it. The Limited has an aluminum frame that comes in a step over or step through style. There are also 2 available colors, including this bluish gray tone and a sandy beige. As always, the first thing that I want to do is get this battery out and start to charge it. So I got the keys here. They were zip tied to the handlebars. Let's open it up, pop it out, and get this charging. When you purchase a Ride1Up, it comes with a 1-year warranty and a 30-day return policy. They have free shipping to the contiguous US and a $100 shipping fee to Canada. Well, as I'm taking off this packaging, especially when I just took off the fork, I've noticed that somehow, although it seemed like it was packaged really nicely, there was some major rubbing and there's some chips out of this frame, which is such a shame because the finish on this bike is absolutely stunning. It's one of the best finishes I've seen in all my e-bike reviews. The paint quality and the welds are blended out so beautifully. So honestly, this is very devastating because this frame is so beautiful. Oh man, I've been being so careful with unpacking this, but unfortunately there's a scratch on this side too. Now on the Ride1Up website, it says that this bike is 85% assembled already, but to be honest, this looks like it's going to be the most work of unboxing and assembling a bike that I've had to do. That's because I've never had an unboxing where I've had to install the fork. Also, the primary gear is not installed on this, and either is the pedal arm to be able to mount the pedal on the right side of the bike. The CEO of Ride1Up had said to me that this bike is priced at a point where you would be able to take it into a bike shop to finish the assembly, and it would still be competitive with other bikes in this category. I just watched a little bit of the assembly video specifically for the fork, so I'm going to try to tackle that first. It's really important to make sure you're paying attention to the order of each ring, because when you mount it back on, they'll have to go in that same order. Now I'm going to put the fork in through this hole. Now that I have those rings back on, I can mount the stem and handlebars. It's time to mount the front wheel, but before I do that, I'm going to inflate it because these are completely deflated. Looks like on the side of this tire, it says I can inflate it between 25 and 40 PSI. I'm going to inflate it up to 30 PSI. This tire here is a 27.5 inch by 2.4 inch tread, so a little thicker than a road tire. It's going to be perfect for what I'm doing today. This here is my Fantic X8 Apex tire inflator. It's battery powered, so I've been using this on all my e-bike reviews to inflate the tires. It's a super handy tool. I have a link in the description below if you want to check these out. Since this tire is completely deflated, I think the safe bet is to inflate it halfway to about 15 PSI and just ensure that no inner tube is poking out and gonna get pinched in between the wheel and the tire. And then I'll fill it up all the way to 30 PSI. Everything looks good here, so I'm gonna pump it up to 30 PSI now. All I have to do is press the button up to 30 and press the start button, and it'll automatically shut off once it reaches that point. I really like that this front tire has a quick release, so I can get the tire on and off really easily and quick. Quick release. And don't forget, one spring on one side and one on the other. All right, now that I have the front wheel mounted, I'm gonna work on that back tire, get it inflated. Finally, I have the kickstand up, so now it's a little bit more balanced. Then I'm going to install the crank.
When installing the crank, you'll need a ratchet set to secure it. It's the only tool that is not provided by Ride1Up that you'll need for this e-bike assembly. I used a wrench, but a ratchet would be easier and better for ensuring a snug fit. Also, when you're ready to mount the pedal arm, make sure the right arm is placed in the opposite direction of the left arm before tightening.
All right, we have the crank all installed. Now it's time to put on the pedals.
The Limited can support riders from 5'1" to 6'2" and has a payload of up to 300 pounds.
Well, I have all the basics and this bike pretty much assembled. I'm gonna make the adjustments to the positioning of everything on the handlebars. And then on the side of the fork, there's a chart that's gonna let me know exactly how much I need to inflate the fork for my weight.
Air suspensions are generally lighter weight than a coil system. This one is very easy to inflate and customize for my weight. It still has a lockout as well, which can help with efficiency.
Out of the box, it seems like the brakes are calibrated nicely, and so far the shifting seems like it's going to be good. But there are a couple comments I want to make about this bike before we get on the road. One, I love the design. The paint finish is absolutely beautiful, other than the couple of marks that I pointed out earlier. The welds are nice and blended. I really like the styling of this bike. It's very modern and sleek. I've also noticed a lot of high quality components on this bike, including the Tektro hydraulic brakes, the Shimano Altus 8-speed gear set, and the WTB tires. At this price point of $1,895, when there's no sale going on, I do think that this bike is missing a few things that the competitors do offer, which include fenders, integrated lights, and a rear rack. So you do have to spend a little bit more money in order to get all those items.
Now it's time to see how it'll feel out on the street.
All right, I'm just starting off here in manpower mode. I'm not in any pedal assist, and this bike is really light. It's just about 53 pounds, so pretty easy to lift up onto a bike rack, but also easy to just pedal just like this if you do run out of battery. Let's take it up to pedal assist 1 and see what kind of power we're gonna get. Oh, there we go, we get a little push of power, and that's because I pushed down on the pedal a little bit more. And what we have going on here is a torque sensor, which is awesome to have on a bike like this, because the more I push down on the pedal, the more power I'm going to get, and it will kind of draw back a little bit if I'm not pedaling as hard. So it really just depends on how much torque I'm engaging, which is a really nice feature. And on this bike in particular, I'm already noticing that it's really smooth. So good power. I'm gonna push a little harder just to see how fast I can get up to in this first pedal assist mode. Looks like this is reading about 14-15 miles per hour or so, which is really great for first pedal assist level. All right, let's take it up to pedal assist 2. Push down a little bit more on the pedal, and yep, it's giving me what I want. So very great response, really quick to give me the power when I'm putting the pedal down. All right, let's see how quick we can get up to speed in pedal assist 2. I really am enjoying this torque sensor. It's giving me more power as I'm asking for it, and it's very responsive. I'm at 20 miles per hour. And something to note is that that's the top speed, 20 miles per hour for throttle only. When I am pedaling, then it's 28 miles per hour. Okay, so there are 3 pedal assists on this bike. A lot of other bikes that I've reviewed have 5, but you know what? It doesn't really matter to me how many there are if the bike is calibrated and balanced with the amount of power that it's giving, depending on the top speed of the bike. Let's see if I can get up on the straightaway up to that 28 miles per hour that they had suggested is the top speed in pedaling. Yep, real easy. Really easy. Wonderful. I really like the power delivery on this bike. The torque sensor is a huge difference, making it really comfortable. It is just a much better riding experience when you have one of these, and it'll give you the power that you're looking for right when you need it, instead of having to wait for like a cadence sensor to get full access to power. Nice wide tread, so there is a lot of stability here. As far as the seat goes, the saddle is a little bit more firm than I would like. This is a gel cushion, as I read on their website. I tend to like something that is a little bit more spongy, not as firm. I really like this colored LCD display. It's giving me the voltage, my battery charge, miles per hour. It's also telling me what kind of power I'm getting out of the motor. So as you can see here, 116, 100, 50, and it's adjusting as I'm moving along and providing more power. Of course, I have an odometer here and a trip meter. I think it's set up really nice. As with other 750 watt motors, this motor is a little bit noisier than some others. This bike is really smooth. Sometimes when I review more powerful motors like this, a 750 watt, they're a little jumpy. The power delivery isn't a gradual transition. Let's get to riding. This group ride happens every Thursday night in the summertime, so highly recommend if you want to come see the city of Detroit in a different light and in a really fun community way. This is a great way to do it. This used to be parking, a street that you could drive down, and now this is, look how beautiful this is. All these shops. How amazing. I bet you didn't know the city of Detroit was like this. This place is really special. Ride1Up says that this bike will get anywhere between 30 and 50 miles of range. I'm already 7 miles in and then barely any fluctuation, if at all any, on my battery, so it's still reading full. These Tektro hydraulic brakes have great stopping power for a bike like this that's only 53 pounds. Usually you see that on the more heavy-duty, heavyweight e-bikes. So I like that extra safety and security that they've provided here. So far, these are really great conditions for this bike in particular because it is a commuter style that is really designed to be on streets and paved paths. It has a little bit wider tread, so if I wanted to go on lighter gravel trails, I can do that too, but through these cracks, as you probably know, we get pretty brutal winters here in Detroit area, so there are quite a few potholes and cracks in the roads, and the suspension is handling it just fine. I'm really enjoying these grips. The paddle on the end, it's really flexible. So some of the other styles that I've experienced have this paddle, but they're really, really stiff. I am really appreciating the flexibility of these. I'm gonna do the throttle test now. So no pedaling at all. It's a thumb throttle on the left side here. I'm gonna put it all the way down and we'll see what it's got. Really gradual increase of speed. And it looks like it hit about 23 miles per hour. Now it's dropping down because there is a limiter on here that is trying to keep it to about 20 at the max. And that's what Ride1Up claims is the top speed on the throttle. So you can get up and over that just a little bit, but then it'll pull you back down when you get up to speed. It isn't a jerky throttle at all, which I do like that because it provides a safer experience. We really wanted to come down here not only to be with the community of other e-mobility riders, but also to show off the city of Detroit, because I think a lot of people have a stigma about downtown that it's not a really cool place to come down and explore, but as you can see, this is pretty awesome. Being a part of rides like this really makes a difference in showcasing to people in the city that they don't necessarily have to take a car everywhere. You can choose an e-mobility solution, whether that be a bike, a unicycle, a skateboard. There are so many different form factors that you can decide what fits your lifestyle and really minimize your footprint, whether that comes to emissions, and just get outside. It's just really nice on days like today where the weather is perfect and you get fresh air and enjoy the city and the sights and the sounds. Now we're headed back to Belle Isle. We started on Woodward in the middle of the city and we have ridden all the way back down to Belle Isle, which is pretty cool because this is where we just unboxed this bike. Well, that was a really fun ride this afternoon on the Ride1Up Limited. I will have to say the things I liked about this bike include the torque sensor. I am really happy with the amount of power it's giving me, exactly what I want when I want it. I think the design is absolutely beautiful. It's a modern finish that I think will appeal to a wide demographic, whether that's an older crowd or a younger crowd. I like the high quality components that it has, including hydraulic brakes, even though this isn't that heavy of a bike. The grips are really comfortable, but things that I would improve include the saddle here. This is a little bit too firm for me. I would probably get something that's a little bit softer, or even a suspension seat post. I also wish that the setup and installation to get this bike assembled wasn't as complicated as it was, but I do understand as to why they do that, to make sure that it fits into a smaller box and to save on shipping costs. All in all, I do think that this bike is pretty decent for this price point, but I would definitely add on fenders, an integrated light, or additional accessories to make this more functional for my lifestyle. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Until next time, drive, fly, ride. Go electric.